Hello, Santa Barbara Community Church family. I'm really excited to let you know that this upcoming Sunday, we are going to be observing Stand Sunday. Stand Sunday is a day that is set aside by churches all around the world in order to observe and remember God's heart for vulnerable children. Just a cursory glance through the Old Testament reveals that God has a huge heart for the vulnerable, and especially for children who find themselves in vulnerable situations. The term fatherless comes up over and over, especially in the Old Testament. A great example is found in the words of Psalm 10, verses 17 and 18. You hear, O Lord, the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them, and you listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed, in order that man, who is of the earth, may terrify no more. Well, for a group of people in our church family, this is not an abstract concept, but represents part of the way that they live out their faith in Christ. We have a ministry here at SB Community called Community 127, and they take their name from the book of James in chapter 1, verse 27, which says, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress. And a number of years ago, a group of families that wanted to take seriously God's heart for vulnerable children and to encourage our church to think more about how we could be involved in foster care and adoption, well, they began this ministry. And today, this ministry has expanded to touch the lives of many in our church family, including my own. About 7 years ago or so, Greta and I had a conversation that would change our family forever. God had laid on her heart his heart for vulnerable children, and she had learned about the foster care situation in our own county, in which there were many children in need of a loving home and a placement where they would be shown love and reminded of their dignity and their value. And this was something that Greta felt compelled to respond to, and to be honest, I didn't. This seemed scary to me. This seemed beyond what I was prepared to do. And yet, as I examined the scriptures, as I heard her talk about God's heart for vulnerable children, I became really convicted that I was valuing my comfort over being responsive to what mattered to God's heart. And so we took the plunge and said yes to foster care, and then eventually to adoption. And that willingness to follow God where he was leading has led to our family being what it is today. I tell you that story because I believe that there are many among us who God might be calling to take similar steps. And if you have been resonating with that or nurturing that thought in your mind, I want to invite you to a couple special opportunities. And one would be this Sunday. If you aren't already registered for one of our on-campus services, I'd encourage you to do so. Our Community 127 team would love to talk with you about what it could look like for you to get more involved with foster care and even adoption, whether internationally or right here in our own community. I also want to tell you we have 2 upcoming opportunities to gain more info about fantastic ministries and organizations that we are connected with as a church. One is Pathway Family Services. The other is Angels Foster Care, both of whom are helping to place children into loving homes. And if that is of interest to you, attached to this email, you'll find additional information, both in terms of times for informational Zoom meetings that are coming up, as well as a PDF flyer where you can get more information about, again, how you can respond to God's heart for vulnerable children. Well, church, I'm excited to be with you this Sunday as we think about what it means to be people who respond to God's adoptive love with open hearts towards others who need to know that they are loved too. God bless you.